Whether you're a college student, an entrepreneur, or an employee who's trying to save a lot of money, you're doing it the wrong way. I've seen many people save a lot of their money in banks and relying on interest income that's only 1%. Well, hello there. There is inflation rate that is 10 to 12% eating your savings account. Tightening your budget and sacrificing your lifestyle will just negatively impact your life. I've come to think about why people are prioritizing expense instead of raising their asset in order to generate more cash. That's why there's many entrepreneurs or students like me are stuck into a 9-to-5 job just to sustain ourselves because they fail to store their valuable asset. I actually take the time to research these 10 ways in order to save your money and get out of debt. So the tip number 1 I have for you is using a budgeting app. This helps you to manage your expenses and track it where are they most are going. For example, I use a budgeting app called Wallet, and most of my expenditures came from food, came from transportation, and came from medical expenses. Then I've come to a conclusion that those necessary analytics or data that budgeting app has given to me, maybe I'm overspending at something that I didn't realize it was actually just once. This budgeting app allows me to track my expense, track my cash flow, and determine my wants, needs, and musts in separate ways. And you don't need to be a financial literate person who is nerd about financial things. By using a budgeting app, it increases your financial awareness and decisions with simple budgeting process that you can do as young as you are. You may track your expense all of the time, but I got this struggle. It seems to be a very tedious work tracking my expense whenever I buy something and use this app. So you have to keep in mind when using this app, it's going to be excruciating, tedious work, but it's going to give you a positive return. Tip number 2 is selling unused item. If you're not using your headphone, if not using your laptop, if you're not using about something that you can sell for the benefit of someone, you're actually using that asset without any return. And it's a great way also to finance your funds and to actually declutter your space in a very minimalistic way to get clean and increase your cash. Tip number 3 is avoiding impulse purchases. Impulse purchases are actually a behavior of a consumer buying something instantly. And I found this my experience myself when I was buying Shopee. I constantly scroll a lot of shopping products there, and when I like something, when I feel I love something and I want to get it now, I actually end up buying it without considering any vouchers or free shipping, and it costs a lot. So when you know how to control this behavior, you would be able to reduce the cost of your spending and pay out your credit cards debts and become financially aware about your decisions. And one way to counter this impulse purchases is in tip number 10. You need to save your utilities. Utilities are a monthly recurring payment that you pay on a repetitive basis. If you know how to save your money, if you know how to save your lights, your electricity, your water, negotiate with your Wi-Fi dealing partners, then you will be able to significantly reduce those expenditures and save cash monthly. Unplugging appliances and using energy efficient appliances can help you financially when it comes to the environment and in your financial health. That's why your parents are like, hey, save that money here. Hey, turn off the lights if you're not using it. Hey, turn off this. Hey, unplug this if you're not using it. It's a way to save your money efficiently. Tip number 5 is actually considering generic more than brand products. The difference between a generic and brand products isn't much the same, isn't much the different, because a generic product uses the same ingredients as the brand product. They have a comparable quality, and the generic product is costing much more less than a branded product. The reason why the branded product is much more expensive is because of its expense in marketing, in advertising, in packaging, in operational expense in order for that brand to gain popularity and distribute it among consumers, especially in medical facilities. So if there's an option of a generic product that you can buy instead of a branded product, think about it, evaluate it, and you'll save a lot more money. Tip number 6 is taking advantage of cashbacks, vouchers, and free shipping, especially in e-commerce website. The tip here is timing. When they have a Valentine's sale, when they have a Halloween sale, or something about sales, it will give you a significant discount to reduce your expenses when it comes to purchasing a product. For example, when you're buying a shoe that costs $100 and you gain like a 10% voucher discount or cashback then you'll be able to save that $10 and purchase that shoe for $90 more valuable than your money. Tip number 7, on the other hand, is cutting back your subscriptions and membership fees. This includes Netflix. If you're utilizing something in subscription or membership, think about it. If you're actually utilizing or using or maximizing it throughout the day, and how often are you going to use it? Are you really using it for a matter of investment? Is it going to help you save more money, save you more time, or anything that is beneficial? If the answer is not enough, then you have to take the time to evaluate your subscriptions and membership fee if they're still useful to pay that in a monthly basis. If not, you can find the alternatives in the web or in the internet. There are actually multiple thousands of options that you can use that software for free. And especially, I do this a lot. I take advantage of free trials without spending $0 to $10 to hundreds of dollars monthly for a software or a service. Especially if you're a student, or you don't have any source of income except for allowances, you need to think about it wisely. Tip number 8 is a story from my father. You have to quit or avoid or prevent nicotine, alcohol, and gambling. My father was a mechanical engineer, overseas seaman who traveled multiple countries and got paid as a 10 to 50 times than an average worker worldwide. However, he became broke this one thing: addiction. That addiction actually led him to be broke as old as he is. And his hard work of waking 4 a.m. in the morning in order to sustain his family isn't going to provide enough because he didn't invested much in financial literacy and the awareness of what are the possible consequences of nicotine and gambling. Didn't actually save up for himself because he's keeping that addiction state to himself, leading him to spend a lot of money in gambling and buying 30 to 50 packs of cigarettes per month. Speaking of tip number 9, that is a liability. We have to understand what's the difference between an asset or a liability. It's simple. You don't need to be an accountant to understand it. An asset is something that puts in your pocket, and a liability is something that put out of your pocket. And another story is from my dental clinic. I came in the dental clinic without thinking the possible monthly expenditures that I need to be responsible of, and I didn't evaluate myself if I would be able to financially afford it independently while just relying on the allowances from my mother. With the right evaluation, with the right thinking, you would be able to understand what are the possible consequences, and are you be able to pay it independently in case your mother didn't pay for your braces. This cost like $20 for adjustment, and that thinking led me to a regret that not thinking of my actions in the future now. So you need to think twice when making a financial decision, which leads us to tip number 10, making a list or a budget. Because this sets you a limit. Where are you actually going to spend your money, and where are you going to allocate those resources in a specific time period? When you have a budget, you have a plan. How are you going to spend your money? If you don't have a plan, you plan to fail, and if you fail to plan, you fail. And that is the finances. The world of finances is about budgeting, about forecasting. It's about projecting results that will lead you to an economic benefit in the future. If you know how to allocate and save your resources, you'll be able to save tons of money in the future. So here are the 10 practical ways that I've given you in order to save your money efficiently. Tell me in this comment section, what are your 3 main plans or strategies in order to save money to better help others out? Utilizing the tip that I've given you, you'll be able to build discipline, awareness, and responsibility in your finances, especially if you're young. Next action plan that I want you to do is to download your first free budgeting app. Start now.